The core four of networking. Networking is an essential skill in both business and personal development. In the core four of networking segment, I break down the key practices for building strong, lasting relationships. Do you know what the core four of networking are? Can you tell me what they are? If you can't, here's a short clip that'll help you out. Check this out. What's up? I'm here with Al to give you guys another networking tip. We've given you 3 so far, and today we're going to give you a 4th. But before we do, let's recap. What's the first thing they got to do, Al?
Show up.
You got to be present and accounted for. What's the second thing?
Be yourself.
You be you, your authentic self, because nobody likes fake people. Not a good look. What's number 3?
Pay attention.
You got to do some active listening. You got to know what's going on. You don't want to stare into somebody's eyes and nod your head thinking about what you got to say next. Pay attention. And now that the recap's done, I think the 4th one's the most important. What do you think, Al?
Oh yeah, there's no point in doing all 3 if you don't do the 4th.
That's right. So why is the 4th so important now?
Because the fortune's in the FU.
What do you mean?
Fortune's in the follow-up.
Ah, that's right, follow up. Don't have a conversation with somebody, take their business card, and then do nothing. Follow up. Speaking of following up, if you guys would like to hear more networking tips from Al and myself, comment more or yes please underneath this video. And Al, what are we going to do after they make that comment?
Follow up.
Haha, that's right. See you guys later. Awesome. I don't know. I still don't know how we did that in one take. Anyway, I'll be breaking down the core 4 1 week at a time. Week 1, show up. Why simply being present can open doors to success. Week 2, be yourself. Authenticity is the key to forming genuine connections. Week 3, pay attention. The importance of active listening and being fully engaged with others. Week 4, follow up. How to maintain and grow relationships beyond the first meeting. What's the most significant networking hurdle that you have faced, and how'd you tackle it? Or are you still working on it? Please share your biggest networking challenges and how you've addressed them in the comments below. In addition to exploring the core 4 of networking, this segment will also showcase local members of the networking organizations that I'm affiliated with, as well as other businesses and professionals in my network. I'll also provide insights on local networking events that I attend. Today, Al and I are diving into the 4th piece of the core 4 of networking, follow up. Let's roll the clip and check out how Al and I unpack the art of staying connected. Stand by. Check this out. There you go. Hello, Al. How's it going this evening?
How you doing? Good. How you doing, Jay?
Awesome. I'm doing awesome. Could you please introduce yourself to the new members of the audience?
Sure. Yeah. My name's Albert Moy. I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones. So, I do all types of financial planning as well as, any type of wealth protection. Let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Al. Let's talk about following up and a few reasons why it's so crucial. Let's see here. So following up, it strengthens connections. The initial interaction lays the groundwork, but the follow-up builds the trust and rapport. You in the audience, can you share a time when following up actually helped you turn an initial connection into a meaningful relationship? Let us know in the comments. Al, I got a question for you. How do you approach follow-ups differently depending on the type of connection, like a potential client versus a referral partner?
Sure. Yeah. So a lot of times when I follow up with people, I still try not to sell business. I don't rush into it. And a lot of time it's following up where it depends on the first time we met at the networking, what I had written down on the back of your business card that I've taken is I may have some clues there for myself so that I meet with so many people so I don't forget. So if there's something that we have in common, I'm going to say, you know what, bungee jumping, that's something that I've always wanted to do. Not really, but, it's like, can you tell me more? How was your experience? What made you decide you want to do that? And then why would you do it for the second time? After you were so scared the first time. So it's just things like that you can start a conversation, and people would say, oh, you know what? You remember. And it's just from the follow-up, this is where you continue to build that relationship with someone.
No, that's awesome. I love that tactic about putting information of the people you meet on the business cards so that you can, appropriately follow up like we're talking about. That's awesome because you meet so many people, and if you want to form genuine connections, you got to, retain some information. You got to pay attention, right? We talked about that already. So anyhow, also following up, actually, it demonstrates reliability. Consistent follow-up shows you're dependable and value the real relationship. You and the audience, can you think of a time when someone's follow-up made you feel valued? What stood out to you? Let us know in the comments. Engage. Let us know. Even if you're watching on the replay, you'll let us know. Al, in your opinion, how does consistent follow-up influence someone's professional reputation?
I mean, a lot of time is, people, although, a lot of times you think, well, I try to follow up with someone. I call them back the next day. They won't answer my call. They won't take my message, or they won't call me back. But here's the thing is, a lot of time is when before you do the follow-up is when you're at networking, you would tell that person, say, listen, I would like to just set up a short time with you, which I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you. I'd like to just know more about what you do. Tell me a little more about, how is it that I can refer business to you? And that's when somebody said, okay, you know what? I'm willing to take your call, but you also have to follow the rules as to say, this is what I'm going to talk about. And not when you get them on the phone the next day and say, listen, let me sell you some of this. And they're going to just hang up right on you. It's like, what, you lied to me and now I don't trust you, so it's a lot of things, but with the follow-up, a lot of time is you got to keep following up until, like I said, the business is going to come through. It's going to come to you, but you just have to keep following up.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So say what you do and do what you say. No bait and switch. No bait and switch. I love that, framing the call framing the call that you're going to be on so that they're aware of what to expect. They're not like and that's probably a good reason for them to actually take the call, like you said, because you're showing that you want to understand their business so that you can refer. You want to know more about them and their business so that you can refer, and that's valuable. It's showing the person that they're feeling valued too. So no, that's awesome. The other thing about following up, it really does. It sets you apart if you do it right. It will set you apart if you do it wrong too, in the wrong way. And I'll kind of give you an example of that. But following up actually sets you apart. Most people neglect this step. By following up, you become memorable. What about you in the audience? Why do you think so many people skip the follow-up step? And how can we avoid falling into that trap? Drop a comment and let us know. Even if you're on the replay, we'll interact with you. Al, why do you think follow-up is such an overlooked step in networking, even though it's so impactful? Why? Why is that? Oh, I think Al's frozen.
What was that? I didn't quite hear you.
Yeah, we were frozen. I asked, why do you think following up? Oh, can you hear me? Yep. Can you hear me now? It's almost like an old Verizon commercial.
Yep.
Can you hear me? No. All right. So, Al, why do you think following up is such an overlooked step in networking, even though it's so impactful?
Well, it's because, when you meet someone the day before or 2 days before, and if you don't follow up, that person's going to forget about you. He's not going to remember who you are, So if you say, whether it's a day, 2 days, 3 days, people will still remember you. Say, hey, I met you at this networking group. I don't know if you had mentioned this about your practice, or you had mentioned this that you enjoy doing. So tell me more. I'm really, I always want to do that, but never had the guts to do it or had the chance to do. So tell me more. How did you go about doing it? Why did you, what made you do this? And just things like that, where you ask simple questions like that, and that person will fall, and they'll tell you why they did it and why they do it, and that way you understand that person themselves, as opposed to just seeing a name and a face. Now you understand that person, and guess what? They'll tell you more about everything about themselves. That way, then you can start. He may even ask you to say, "Tell me more about you. What made you do what you do? Tell me more about your family." Then it's almost like just like your friends. You share secrets, you share stories, and that's how you build a relationship.
No, that's awesome. And that kind of takes me back to our last one of the last episodes we had, and you had mentioned the acronym FORD, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. See, I remember that. I pay attention. But that's awesome. So following up, you're able to utilize that and show that you actually are paying attention, that you do value creating a relationship with this person. No, that's great. I wanted to talk about real quick a recent follow-up that I was at the receiving end of. No names. I met somebody at a networking event last week. I'm looking for my phone here. I can remember. Anyway, I was at a networking event last week, and we exchanged business. We talked and then exchanged business cards and whatnot. And the person actually followed up with me the next day, and is like, "Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah." And then I had mentioned, "Hey, don't forget about my new, video show, Keeping It Real, just in case they want to be on it and see what it's about and whatnot." And they actually gave me another message after I told them about the show and to check it out. And they said, "I'll definitely check it out." I hope they're checking it out now. "I'll definitely check it out. Can you send me a reminder?" It's like, really? Can you send me a reminder? So if I just want to point out that if somebody asks me to check out their show, what I'm going to say is, "Okay, I'll check it out." And then I'm going to make a note on my calendar, wherever I need to make a note to check out that show. I'm going to purposefully check out that show. And then after checking out that show, I'm going to follow up. Like, "Hey, I checked out your show. It's pretty cool, blah, blah, blah," and say something about it, so they know I watched it. I'm not going to ask them, "Hey, could you remind me when your show is going to be on?" Like, it's right there in the last text message. You just got to click on it. But, that's kind of, it was a turn off. Let's just put it that way. So that's one way to not follow up, I guess. Would you happen to have a story like that at all, Al? I mean, I kind of had that in my head. I don't know if you have anything to that extent.
Yeah, I mean, I get that sometimes. It's almost like, and they say, "Remind me about this, remind me of that," and it's something you just go, "Listen, you know what? I'm not going to remind you." The thing is, right now I really can tell you show no interest. So, I mean, it can go both ways, right? A lot of time, if you do that the same to someone, they're going to say, "Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to even want to bother with that person." So right now, you're not here to push people away. Your job is to connect with people so that they would say, that you'll be on top of their mind if there is business for you. So,
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of turn off. It's like, well, you don't really care enough to check it out, like to give yourself a reminder. You're asking. That's just, anyway. I just had to mention that. It rubbed me the wrong way. Anyhow, I mean, as far as following up, that's all I've got for this segment. I mean, we have much more to talk about, and I'll say about it in a second. But Al, do you have anything else to add?
No, I just say, you always want to say, look at different strategies when you follow up with people. You can't use the same strategy on everyone. I mean, everyone's different. So a lot of times just look at different things that you could talk about. And don't call them and say, "Listen, I'm just following up." Don't say you're following up.
Ouch.
All right. Just say, "Hey, you know what?" Yeah, that's too obvious. And people say, "Oh, it's almost like you calling a client, "Hey, by the way, I'm just following up." They're like, click. Yeah, I don't need to hear that. I mean, you can come up with something that you think that person would be interested in. Like maybe say, "Hey, this is a hobby, and I've done my research. I found something. Maybe we can go check it out together or something." Say, if not, maybe here's the link to it and so forth. I mean, have something that you can talk about, not just call and go, "Yeah, I'm just here to follow up. So, what's up?" and it's like, yeah, then you have nothing to talk about. Find something to talk about, and then someone's gonna say, you know what, I've already signed up for that. Yeah, maybe we should go check it out together. It should be a lot of fun. And that's how, and sometimes I'll tell you, if you do the same activities with the same person, they're gonna say, you know what, this is cool. Now I don't need to do it with a buddy of mine all the time. I can have somebody else that I can do this with.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I mean, we could bring this whole thing back around the core four of networking, right? First thing is show up. You show up to be present so that you put yourself in the actual situation to meet people. And then after you show up, be yourself. And being yourself, what that's going to do is allow other people to open up so that when you do the next step, pay attention, you actually have something to pay attention to. And to what Al just said, when you do pay attention and you get that info, take mental note of it. That way, when you do the last step, follow up, like he just said, you have something to talk about. Perfect, full circle. Awesome, Al. So in future episodes, though, we'll talk about how to follow up, effective follow-up techniques, the return on investment of following up, and tips for long-term success as far as following up is concerned. Next week is Monday again. Next Monday is week 1 again, I should say. So we'll end up at the first of the core four of networking, which is show up. Why simply being present can open doors to success. And we'll talk about that then. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please get in touch. I'd be happy to have you. Al, what's the best way for someone in the audience to connect with you?
Sure. There's 2 ways. They can email me at albert.moy, that's MUI, at edwardjones.com, or simply pick up the phone, give me a call at 508-697-5389.
Awesome. And Al, what states can you work with people in?
I can work with people from almost in every state within the United States.
Awesome. That's a question I meant to ask you. Thank you for that. As always, thanks for joining me tonight, Al. I appreciate you. Mm-hmm. You come through, man. Look for Al on future episodes. Appreciate it, Al.
You're welcome.
All right, here's the truth. If you're not following up, you're just another name lost in the shuffle. Follow up is the bridge between nice to meet you and I trust you. It proves you're reliable, and it makes you unforgettable in a world full of people who never call back. I'm going to give you action step. Before the day wraps up tomorrow, all right, pick one person you met this week and follow up. Send a short note, share something useful, or simply say, great connecting with you. It takes less than a minute, all right, and it could spark your next big opportunity. Give it a try. Quick question for you. When it comes to following up, what trips you up the most? Knowing what to say, carving out time to do it, or keeping track of it all? Let me know. Drop your answer in the comments. If the replay brought you value, don't miss out. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes of Keeping It Real, because it's just going to get better. All right. Next Monday is week 1. So the topic will be show up, why simply being present can open doors to success. Until then, show up, be yourself, pay attention, and most of all, follow up, and keep building the relationships that build your business forward. Got a story worth sharing? I want you on the show. Reach out. Let's make it happen. All right. And if you catch me at a networking event, don't hesitate to pull me aside. Let's create some